If you want to sell higher, win bigger, and fast track your career, it all starts with earning trust at the very top. In the next 5 or so minutes, I'm going to walk you through the 5 proven ways to build real credibility with the C-suite and exactly how you can start today. So, hello and welcome. I'm Maria White, CEO of Enablement Dojo and co-founder of Good Morning Enablement. During my career, I have built and led high-performing sales teams around the globe. And as a sales leader, I must have attended, individually or with my sales teams or leaders, over 250 C-suite meetings selling directly to the C-suite. Now, maybe there was more. In my previous role as a VP of Revenue Enablement, I also continued to sell to the C-suite to go for ideas, initiatives, budget, headcount, and all of that good stuff. So now with that said, so you know who's talking to you, let's get into it. Why does the C-suite credibility matter? So here's the thing. Selling to senior executives is different to selling to like a manager or a VP. These CEOs are flooded. Well, it could be a CIO, CMO. They're flooded with noise. And they really have zero time for anything that doesn't immediately connect to their business goals and what they're trying to achieve for their organization, their role inside that organization. And I can confirm working as a VP in a large, multiple large corporations, I would have 14 to 16-hour days, back-to-back calls, and emails coming, Slacks coming, phone calls, texts, and then WhatsApp, nonstop. So imagine the next level, like the CEO. Well, it just magnifies. So research shows that 70% of major purchase decisions are influenced or finalized by C-level leaders when sellers engage early and credible. So that's why it matters. If you want a seat at the table and you want to stay there, connecting with that C-suite in your organizations you're partnering with, it's not about selling harder. It is about showing up differently. So let's jump into those 5 key strategies that you need to help you get there. So number 1, you literally have to speak their language figuratively. And what I mean by that is speaking the business value, not the features. A C-level executive is not necessarily interested in, all of the bits and the bytes about the information to do with the solution that you're providing. What they're interested in is what your solution is going to do for their organization when it comes to delivering on their business priorities. So it's about the business value. The executives do not care about product specs. They have other individuals who they rely upon for that. They care about outcomes. So talk about revenue growth, market expansion, risk reduction, and competitive advantage. Those are the things that they're going to really care about. How are they going to increase those earnings per share for the organization that they're heading up? So if you can't explain the value to the C-suite in one sentence on how you or your organization is going to help move their business forward, then simply speaking, you're not ready, because you need to simplify what you're saying to them and you need to speak in outcomes. Harsh, but true. That's number 1. Speak their language. So number 2 is do your homework. Sounds ridiculous, but you have to know their business almost as well as they do to have that credibility with them. And what I mean by that is preparation isn't optional. It's literally the price of admission to get that seat at the table. I remember I did an interview with Chris, the CEO at ServiceNow a while ago, and, it was the same input I got from him. Please do not come unprepared when you're coming to see me to talk about your solutions. I will just, I will not have time for that conversation and I'll make an excuse to leave. So do your homework, know their business. Preparation isn't optional. It's the price of admission. Research their quarterly reports, their earnings call, look at their LinkedIn updates, their company, their industry news, and understand understand inside and out their top 3 priorities before you ever reach out. And maybe one strong insight about their world beats the 10 slides that you're about to show them. So if you can talk intelligently about how your solution is going to bring value and help them move forward one of those priorities, That one strong insight is just going to speak volumes, better than any slide you're going to create for them. Okay, this is a really important one, and all of the sales, I must have led, I want to say, hundreds and hundreds of sales individuals in my career. And this was the one area that constantly set them apart, set them back. And that's the same when I was in the enablement roles, like doing the revenue enablement for large organizations. You need to show up when you're talking to the C-suite, whether it's by email, phone, web, a Zoom meeting or whatever. You need to show up as a peer, not as a pitch. Their time is valuable. Your time is valuable. Just because you're in different positions in an organization, it doesn't mean that you're inferior as a seller to the C-suite that you're pitching. And hey, newsflash, the CEO is a human too. Just because they have a different title, it doesn't mean that they don't want to be respectful and hear the stuff that you're going to say to them. They will treat you, as a peer if you show up as one. So this is about posture, not arrogance. When you meet an executive, a C-suite, your energy should be saying, I understand your world. I'm here to collaborate and not to sell at you. Confidence in your abilities to understand their business and to create a match, a collaborative synergy of, services to help them with their outcomes. That's confidence. Confidence opens up conversations. But let me tell you, fear, desperation, imposter syndrome, all of those things when you try to show up to the C-suite is absolutely going to end them. It'll be emotive and they will understand that you don't feel confident. So then that's not building that trusted advisor relationship. All right. So we spoke about, the three things that we just covered, just as a baby recap halfway through. Speak their language, do your homework. Number 3, show up as a peer, not a pitch. Number 4, lead with insights, not with questions. So I'll give you an example of what I'm referring to here. If you've done your research, the questions that you should be asking to the C-suite are probably going to be more high gain than they're going to be, how many employees does your company have? Or are you currently working on something right now? None of that. You should have all of that information already. It should be locked in. You should be well prepared. Executives do not want a pop quiz because that's like wasting their time because you could have read the website or met with some of their, direct reports. They want a point of view. They recognize that you meet with, maybe 20 to 100 organizations like them sharing the same problem. So don't give them a pop quiz. They want a point of view, a strong point of view of why you're the best business partner for them and why your solutions are going to help them achieve their results. So don't lead with what keeps you up at night. Instead, open up with something powerful. And I just made this one up, So we see companies in your industry, wrestling with information sprawl or the Internet of Things. Let me talk to you about things that are working that we have found as we've spoke to other customers such as yourself. By making a statement like that, instead of making a question, you position yourself as a trusted advisor and not another vendor. So that's number 4. Executives do not want a pop quiz, lead with insights, not questions. All of these things are working towards you showing up credible when you're discussing or engaging your solutions with the C-suite. And the last one, which is probably just as important as every single one here, maybe more, is follow up like a professional, like a pro. Like, this is smooth, you're confident, you know exactly what to do, you know how to do it, you know how to treat them respectfully, you know how to follow up. It sounds like, yeah, of course I'm going to follow up. So many people have said that, but they just don't. You need to, under promise and over deliver when you're following up like a pro. And what that truly means is if you say to a C-suite or an executive, yep, I'll go back to the office and I'll get that email to you later on this afternoon. And then something happens and you don't send it and you send it the morning after. Doesn't matter whether they read their email or not. They're still going to check when you sent it. That reduces your credibility because you did not do what you said. And now that's a reflection on you and obviously on your organization you're representing. So follow up like a pro. Your first meeting builds that credibility. but your follow-up locks it in. So, send a tailored, thoughtful note and do it fast. Even if it's, if it's saying, thank you so much, I enjoyed our meeting today. Here's the 3 key takeaways that I will present back to you on this date and time. Anything simple, succinct, tailored. You could offer some a summarization of the key points, but offer something of value, like maybe repeating a key call out from the meeting that you're going to work on to come back to them. And 100%, please make those next steps easy. Make it easy to partner with you. Now, remember, your first meeting builds credibility. I said your follow-up locks it in, because your follow-up is the second impression. So make it even stronger than your first. All right, well, here's the bottom line, just to put this with a nice bow on it. Selling to the C-suite isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about being the most valuable. You need to speak their language, know their world, show up as a peer, lead with insights, and always, always follow through. So you can start building your credibility today and just watch those doors open for you and start building some meaningful C-suite relationships where the respect is mutual and what you can offer their organization is going to only develop bigger and bigger as you nurture that relationship. So before we close out today's session, I want to just, recap with slides. Of visuals are always good for some people. So just hold on 1 second and I'm going to try and do a wonderful share screen. So give me a second. Gonna take a minute. And here we go. You should be able to see the screen now as I do a little brief recap for you. Okay, so from first meeting to trusted advisor, 5 keys to C-suite credibility. Let's go to slide number 1. Recap. Speak their language. If you can't explain it in 1 sentence, you're not ready. Speak in outcomes. Number 2, do your homework. Understand their top 3 priorities before you reach out. And 1 strong insight about their world beats 10 slides from you. 3, show up as a peer. So understand their world and let them know that you are there to collaborate. And as I said, confidence opens conversations. Number 4, lead with insights. We're seeing companies in your industry insert your own, pain point. And here's what's working. And then position yourself as a trusted advisor. And then last but not least, follow up like a pro. Super important. Offer something valuable, do it immediately, and make the next steps easy. Now, before we sign off, remember, I told you, CEO of Enablement Dojo. So if your organization is looking for some extraordinary results, let us train your team. We can train them. We can deep dive them into having those credible meetings with the C-suite and much more. And with that said, I just want to sign out and say thank you so very much for being here with me today. I hope that you found this valuable. And, please follow for some more real-world selling tips, and you can put this to work immediately. Please like and subscribe and have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you so much.